and welcome. Tremor Dose is a graphic novel written by Michael W. Conrad and illustrated by Noah Bailey. It was published as a Comixology original in 2019. The story involves Jin Morris, a young woman who continually encounters the same, usually silent figure in her dreams. This leads her to seek answers from a team of dream researchers who interview people that have also seen this smiling, non-threatening man while sleeping. Following her first interview, Jin sees this man in the real world. From there, any further summary would spoil too much of the story, so it's best to stop at this point. The entire opening part is quite compelling. The dynamic between Jin and the two interviewers is very well done. One interviewer mainly presses for more elaboration from Jin, while the other is comforting, using personal anecdotes and positive reinforcement to elicit further honesty from Jin. It's a very manipulative technique, but not done in an obvious manner. Due to revelations later in the graphic novel, this interview takes on the tone of a debrief on a second read. As a side note, it's possible that Jin Morris's name is an amalgamation of Greg Ginn and Keith Morris, two of the founding members of the seminal punk band Black Flag. Conrad does bring attention to the name, so it seems likely it's a homage to the group. Like a dream, there is a fair amount to interpret within Tremor Dose. There are questions a reader may ask that don't have firm answers within the narrative. The conclusion also leads one to consider how much of the preceding story was not a dream. Furthermore, if significant portions of the story are realistic dreams, whose dreams are they? In part, the story questions the nature, purpose, and the practical application of dreams. Do they take place in a parallel avenue in our mind? Is this parallel avenue a space that can be shared with others in a meaningful capacity? Are dreams symbolic representations of solutions to real-world issues? Or are dreams the subconscious mind shuffling through and organizing memories so they can be recalled when the mind is conscious? In Tremor Dose, the answer to all of these questions may be yes. But there may also be a purpose to dreams that remains to be discovered. It is somewhat evasive when it comes to directly answering any questions one may ask. Or, possibly, one can interpret this narrative approach as being elusive, like a dream itself. Dreams can have an influence on our decisions, although this influence may be subtle and not immediately recognizable. In this story, this influence manifests as a desire for certain products, such as junk food. This is possibly a critique of the psychoanalytics of advertising and how, when applied effectively, they can affect decisions. But this obvious influence disguises the true influence. Junk food is, for many, comfort food, so it can be viewed as a basic tool of familiarity. This allows the protagonist to feel safe and to discover what is actually happening. The material has the tone of a David Cronenberg movie. It feels somewhat creepy, but also compelling. The atmosphere feels well established and consistent throughout. The dreams explored are not wildly imaginative, like seen in Little Nemo in Slumberland. In other words, they aren't overly fantastical. Certainly, they are surreal, but they don't feel like a narrative device to explore highly imaginative scenarios. They feel, for lack of a better term, real or grounded. Therefore, it's easy for one to relate to the series of events taking place. The artwork is very suitable for the material. It's evocative and expressive. While primarily done in black and white, it does suddenly shift to color for one setting. These colors have a very pastel and plastic feel to them. It's bright, warm, and somewhat innocent. These colors are evocative of a young person's flat but colorful experiences, which seems appropriate. Although, clearly, it's going for a Where the Wild Things Are vibe. Due to the artwork being done on watercolor paper, it gives the illustrations a visual tactility. It feels like something one can reach out and touch. Again, this enhances the unreal nature of the material. It looks textured, and, like a dream, it's intangible. While possibly unintentional, the gray tones bleeding out beyond the panel borders is also a nice touch. It gives the impression that the illustration in the panel is leaking into the concrete gutter reality between the panels. That is, this is the space where reality and unreality blend or overlap. In the end, Tremor Dose is a somewhat surreal trip through the dreaming space of the protagonist and a few other members of the supporting cast. While the narrative structure is linear and straightforward, it may be a story that is a bit too oblique for a general audience. It's evocative and atmospheric, but it may have needed a bit more definition near the ending. Mind you, this ambiguity may also be a strength. It heightens the overall dream sensation. That's it for today. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I will talk at you later. Until next time.